Hello, my name is Michael O'Keefe, aka The Movie Wist. If you enjoy this interview and want to hear more top-notch film industry conversations, please press the thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell to stay in the know. Hello, how are you today, and what is your name?
My name is Grímur Hákonarson.
Okay, and how did you draw inspiration for your film, The County?
Well, it's based on a true stories from that area in Iceland, in the northwest of Iceland, called Skagafjörður. And there is like this cooperative company that exists there, and it's pretty powerful and has like a big grip on the society. And I spent some time there, and I really felt like people there were really dependent on it, and they were kind of like afraid to talk about it or criticize it, and sort of I felt this. I felt a little bit like a small kind of dictatorship, and. Yeah, I got interested in that, and then I came up with the character of Inca, you know, this kind of modern, kind of strong woman who kind of stands up in this kind of male-orientated community, you know.
Yeah, her character kind of reminded me of Frances McDormand in Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. Have you seen that film?
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. And
did you feel like any comparison, or like, you know, I'm not saying like it was like The County's a different movie, different issue, and everything like that, but was that like at all any inspiration for this film?
Well, I kind of wrote the script before I saw that movie, but it came out kind of just shortly before we filmed it, and I mean. We're kind of aware of that, of course, but the costume designer hadn't seen it, and on the third day of shooting, I kind of realized that her kind of outfit was like also really similar, like in the first McDormand, but then it was too late to change that. But it's also inspired by films from the 80s and the 70s, like Silkwood. You know, it's a film with Meryl Streep and Erin Brockovich.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Julia Roberts.
Yeah. Like and I think it kind of made sense that because I wanted to make a story about like individual fighting the system, and it kind of makes sense that it was a woman, because the guys who are controlling the co-op are all like kind of. It's a conservative society.
Sure.
They're men, you know, and so
it's
just to make a contrast, you know.
Yeah, it's always a great, you know, storyline. The gal taking up the corrupt boys club. You know, it's always fun to root for that character. And we were also talking about a lot of public policy, you know, with the farming and stuff like that. How do you find that balance between, you know, bringing up the issues that you're talking about, and then also, you know, making sure it doesn't dilute the drama?
Yeah, I mean, the balance between it's I mean, The County is like the story has like these two layers, you know. It's like a woman trying to change the society, but she is also a woman who loses her husband, and it's like she's dealing with grief, going through a process of grief, and you know. This is like I really felt like she needed like a good reason to go on this fight, and it felt like a sort of a good reason that when she loses her husband, but you know, it is like always a bit tricky to balance, you know, like this kind of personal, kind of emotional story about this woman, and then sort of try to also describe this corruption and this political side of it. It's the first time I do that, you know, and it is pretty tricky how you do that. Also, like how much you because you're trying to focus on Inca, but also you want to show how the co-op guys and how they live and how they function, you know. So just to make this kind of balance can be tricky, you know.
Sure. I think you do it well though. So is this your first time in Toronto?
My second time, you know. I was in 2015 with my film Rams.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you enjoy it here in the festival?
Yeah. I really like it. It's really relaxed atmosphere, and I think the audience is the great audience. They really the movie lovers.
Yeah.
And this festival because it's not like a competition or it's just about like watching films. Like there are a lot of good films. You can see most of the best films of every year here and yeah, and just when I landed on the airport, and just talking to the taxi driver on the way, I kind of felt like
Yeah, you get a sense of things that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that with you there in different cities and talking to just regular people. But have you been having some solid like schmoozing with the rich and powerful? Have you any like memorable interactions with celebrities? Has that happened for you on this trip?
Not yet, but I was invited to like a Hollywood reporter party tonight,
Wow.
and maybe I'll bump into someone and.
I think you will.
But I'm developing like English language film, like which is a story that the set is set in the U.S. So I'm I'm moving away from Iceland a little bit and
Blowing up.
Yeah.
Cool.
Becoming, I'm selling my soul, but no,
What's
it's
about? Why do we do these things?
Yeah. Now it is a project that I'm developing. It is like a film that is within. It's like a my story and like kind of my style, but it's just set. It's just with. It's gonna be with Hollywood actors and set in a suburbs in the U.S. and. I can't really say much about it now,
yeah.
but
That's a solid tease, and I appreciate you giving that to me. Did you do a lot of research for the county, about the co-ops and everything? How extensive was your research for this film?
Yeah, I mainly researched. It's based on true stories, and I spent some time in this Skagafjörður, this area, and I met people and talked to, and I sort of collected some stories. I was thinking of doing a documentary first about this area and the co-op and all that, and but I felt like people didn't wanna be on camera. People wanted to meet me and tell me something, but they didn't want to do it officially.
Sure.
So that's why I decided to make a fiction film. Just hire some actors to do it and. Because I've made some documentaries also, I'm interested in documentaries, and but this was the only possibility of making a film about this community, just making a fiction film.
Yeah, and maybe it's more effective to make it like a fiction, it gets people's attention.
Yeah.
What was the acting like? Do you ever deal with like method actors, or how do you speak to actors when you want to prep them for a scene, or maybe something's not going exactly the way you want it to? How do you talk to these sensitive people?
Yeah, I try to rule number one is just getting to know them, just sort of having a coffee, just building up some kind of trust. And I usually try to start the rehearsing process like very early, like as soon as possible. And like with Inca, we started to meet like 2 years before we shot the film.
No kidding.
And I basically I express my vision to them, and then they kind of just take over, and they do their own kind of. Some of them are doing method acting, and some of them are doing it different. Some of them are kind of building up the character from like listening to music. They have a different way of doing things. I mean, some actors are really technical. They kind of don't wanna dig really deep into the character, just wanna show up on set. They just learn the lines and deliver them, and it works differently.
So there's really
but
no
maybe my emphasis is my main sort of emphasis is to sort of like in these countryside movies, because the actors are living in the cities, not maybe familiar with the farming life. So I usually send them to do some practical rehearsals, like on just living on a farm and like being around animals and that kind of stuff, because it's important to me that you cannot believe that they are real farmers. So that's something
Okay.
just making to sort of make them research for the character, like.
By living in the environment and like seeing those senses and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Especially if they're not familiar with the environment. But if there's like an actor, she's someone who is like Inca. She's dealing with she's going through a process of grief. She loses her husband. So I also like found some books about grief and like this grief process and sort of and how people react when they lose someone close to them, and so she read some books about that, and she talked to some psychiatrist, and it's yeah.
Was there a particular director or directors who have this method of preparation? Because you seem to be pretty thorough with doing preparation. Was there someone inspire you to do that, or were you just like kind of like, this is what needs to be done?
Yeah, I mean, this is, I think, some kind of something I had just developed by myself. It's not based on any special method. It's more like it's just something I believe it works. I mean, I don't believe in this. Like, some directors, they don't like to rehearse it. They just want the actor to just show up on the set and film and just direct them on the set. But I always believe it's the outcome is always stronger if you spend some time with the actor and try to sort of do some research and dig into the soul of the character. I think it's I'm somewhere in the middle, I would say. I'm not overdoing it. But
what about like the mise en scène and the production design? Are you as meticulous with that as you are with talking to the actors, so they have an emotional sense of things?
Oh yeah. I mean, my job is pretty wide. I have my fingers like in every field there. I mean, I have a very, maybe because I started as making film on my own, like I was an independent kind of filmmaker. I was shooting, I was doing editing, I was like, so have a lot of, so I'm really involved like in every aspects of the filmmaking, and the most important for me, like in terms of the setting, is that it kind of helps the story and to create like a believable environment and set, like, and look for the characters, and also just helping to tell the story, and because I think it's always advantage if you can tell the story visually,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
it's a film,
It's a visual medium.
it's not a theater, so it's
Absolutely.
always advantage,
Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and look forward to hopefully seeing your Hollywood movie. It's
Yeah.
very exciting. One more question though: if you had kind of your way within the system, you do any kind of projects or any property, what's your dream project?
It has been like I would like in the future I would like to make some period movie in
Cool.
Iceland, like in the Second World War, maybe.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that'd be great. Those movies are fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't have any Nazis in Iceland, unfortunately, but we had like we were occupied by the British and the American army, and it was like it's a really interesting period in our history, and there's not there's not much money in Icelandic film industry, so until now we haven't been capable of making period films. So I would like to make a period movie, like a big budget period film, like when I get when I get older and have more gray hair, and I will.
All right.
I will
Well, we'll look forward to that. That sounds like a
tell
good project.
stories. Yes.
Because I don't know anything about that, and I want to see that one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. Thank you.